Have you ever thought about what occurs when sea crafts can't move across the water by themselves? They receive assistance from tugboats, which pull other crafts through the ocean to their destination. Back in 2013, there was a tugboat called Jascon 4. It was out there, around 30 kilometers away from Nigeria's oil-producing Delta State, helping to tow an oil rig. On board, there was a man named Harrison Okene, who worked as a cook. Jascon 4 was one of 3 boats assigned to bring an oil rig back to the shore. When you're far out in the deep waves of the powerful Atlantic Ocean, rough waters and storms are quite common. In May of 2013, a fierce storm struck the tugboat named Jascon 4. Oaken and his crew were unaware of the storm's strength and had no idea about the extensive damage it was about to cause. Tugboats often spent weeks at sea, experiencing calm, drifting on some days while facing the spectacle of natural elements on others. However, these boats usually stayed afloat without major issues, safely returning after completing their task. On that particular day, just like any other, Oaken woke up early in the morning and went to the bathroom to freshen up. It was during this time that disaster struck. The tugboat was struck by something, although no one was certain about the cause, perhaps a massive wave or a strong gust of wind. Whatever it was, it dealt a final blow to the vessel. Before Oaken could comprehend the situation, the frigid waters began pulling the tugboat beneath the surface. The lights went out, plunging him into darkness. He could sense that the ship was in grave danger. He attempted to leave the bathroom and join his fellow crew members, but the next sight he witnessed was beyond any preparation. While he saw some colleagues trying to reach the emergency exit door, the powerful waves rocking the boat made it impossible for him to do the same. A massive wave crashed into the ship, rushing through while everyone struggled to reach the exit. In shock, he watched as 3 of his co-workers were pulled into the dark water. He couldn't mourn this sight, as he was tossed around by the ship's downward plunge. Instead of heading for the exit, he was caught by another forceful wave which carried him down a different corridor of the ship. Lost in the darkness, he had no clue about his location or destination. Abruptly, the ship's tumultuous descent came to a crashing halt. Gradually, he realized that he had been carried by the water into another restroom near a cabin. While the outside water continued to batter the tugboat, the inside suddenly stood still. Confused and bewildered, he marveled at the fact that he was still able to breathe. He couldn't fathom it. Was he truly deep underwater? What had happened? Where were his co-workers? Were they safe? Did anyone else survive, or were they trapped like him? What happens to Harrison Okene? Does he miraculously survive this incident, or does he falter? Stay till the end of the video to know what happens. The tugboat had flipped over, resting upside down on the ocean floor. Surprisingly, he found himself trapped in a small pocket of air, giving him a precious but limited supply of breathable space. Realizing he was still alive and able to breathe in this confined air pocket, he felt uncertain about his next steps. Attempting to reach his colleagues by calling out, he strained to see through the darkness, yet there was no response. In the cramped restroom, water gradually seeped in, raising the level. Searching for objects to elevate himself above the water, he spotted an overturned wash basin. Grasping onto it, he gained a bit of height. But this was a temporary solution. Urgently needing something more stable to climb, he faced his fear and decided to venture beyond the restroom. He summoned the courage to open the door, swimming into an adjoining cabin. There, he managed to pry off sections of wall paneling. Using these pieces, he fashioned a makeshift raft, raising himself further above the frigid water. With no other options, he settled into a waiting game, hoping for a miraculous rescue. He had another reason to stay motionless. It wasn't only because he feared triggering another rush of ocean water, but also to save the precious oxygen left in his body. Any movement would make him breathe harder, and he knew the small air pocket had limited oxygen. So, he remained as quiet as he could and focused on controlling his breath. However, this strategy wouldn't work for much longer. The reality was that even if he had stayed perfectly still and carefully conserved his breath, the oxygen would eventually run out. At such depths in the ocean, oxygen is scarce, and nitrogen levels take over rapidly. Oaken did all he could to hold on to life. Adrift in darkness, feeling lost and cold. The water around him slowly rising, he lacked food and water. Yet, he stumbled upon a small bottle of Coke which offered him a tiny boost of energy. Beyond hunger and darkness, he faced another concern. Prolonged exposure to the harsh salt water caused his skin to painfully peel away. Despite the seemingly bleak situation, this devout Christian clung to his faith, praying repeatedly for rescue. Oaken's survival hung by a thread, depending on what seemed like a miracle. Even in the bleakest moments, he held on to the strong belief that miracles could happen. His faith in God and thoughts of his family fueled his determination to keep pushing forward. These thoughts became his anchor, giving him the willpower to persevere and maintain hope for a miraculous rescue. Over the course of 60 hours, Oaken clung to life in the sunken tugboat on the ocean floor. Amidst the darkness and isolation, he thought he heard faint sounds of hammering against the deck. Uncertainty clouded his mind. Was it a figment of his imagination or a sign of imminent salvation? And then, against all odds, Oaken's desperate hope found a glimmer of truth. A team of divers tasked with recovering bodies from the wreckage circled the site. The chance of survival seemed impossible in such depths, but fate had something unexpected in store. The Dutch company, EC Diving, had already discovered 4 bodies and wasn't actively searching for survivors. The team continued their exploration inside the submerged tugboat, relying on their headlamps to illuminate the dark water. While the divers moved through the passageways, Oaken noticed one of their head torches' light sweeping past him. Oaken was eager to catch their notice, but he was so fatigued that raising his arms was a struggle. Surprisingly, the diver came back to the same spot for reasons unknown. Oaken felt heightened fear, realizing this was a critical moment. Despite being weakened from days without food or water, he mustered his last ounces of strength to swim towards the diver. Unable to grab the diver's attention, he extended his arm and gently tapped the diver on the back of their neck. The video taken by the search team's cameras captures the remarkable sequence of events that unfolded next. When the diver noticed Oaken's hand extending outward, he quickly communicated through his microphone to the rescue ship above, saying, "Corpse, corpse, corpse." However, he soon discovered his mistake. When the diver drew closer and touched the lifeless-looking hand, it unexpectedly responded with movement. The live video footage captures the rescue team's astonished reaction as they can be heard exclaiming in disbelief, "He's actually alive! He's alive! He's alive! He's alive!" When the search team realized they had found a survivor, their joy knew no bounds due to this extraordinary miracle. It amazed everyone because no one had anticipated it, considering the seemingly impossible conditions for survival. Even though he had been located, there was still a challenging journey ahead to ensure his safety. The rescue team was concerned that the excitement of being saved might trigger panic and excessive breathing in him. Their worry extended beyond his emotions, as being in a high-nitrogen environment could mean he had absorbed dangerously high levels. Elevating his heart rate in this state could be extremely risky and even deadly. Therefore, for the rescue team, keeping Oaken composed was truly a life-or-death matter. Fortunately, both the underwater rescue team and the search panel above were highly skilled in maintaining Oaken's composure, fostering positivity and guiding him through the rescue procedure. After being saved, the process wasn't as simple as just bringing him straight to the surface. His time in the sealed area had caused his heart to gradually accumulate gas, making it unable to adjust to the air conditions above the water. Bringing Oaken back to the surface required careful steps. First, the rescue team equipped him with diving gear, including a mask for underwater breathing. Then, they guided him through the water into a diving bell. This bell brought him up to the surface, but he had to immediately enter a decompression chamber. Oaken stayed in the chamber for 2 days, allowing his heart to return to its normal state. The remarkable story of Harrison Okene's survival and rescue quickly became known worldwide. People all around the globe, including experts, were astonished and touched by this unprecedented miracle. Some suggested that the composition of the water he was partly submerged in might have played a role. This water could have helped absorb the potentially harmful nitrogen and carbon dioxide that can accumulate in a confined space over a prolonged period. Oaken openly shares how his unwavering religious faith became his pillar of strength during the time he was trapped deep within the ocean. Despite the dire circumstances, no rescue in sight, lacking sustenance, and surrounded by dangers and terrors, his faith never wavered. It's truly remarkable that he maintained his belief amidst such challenges. Even though he vowed to stay away from the ocean, fate led him to become a certified commercial diver by 2015. Remarkably, the same rescue diver who discovered him at the ocean's depths awarded Oken his diploma. We appreciate your viewership of this video. If you found it thrilling, kindly hit the like button, consider subscribing to our channel, and activate the notification bell. Stay tuned for more captivating true stories coming soon.